All right, 6.2a, solving inequalities using multiplication and division. So our learning target here is graphing and solving one-step inequalities. Yesterday we practiced with adding and subtracting, so today we're doing multiplication and division. So we're going to start out by drawing our line down that inequality, just like we did with equations. And you have to ask yourself, if I want to solve for x, how do I get that x by itself? So since it's 11 times x, I'm going to divide both sides by 11. And you're left with x. You're going to carry down that inequality exactly the same. And 22 divided by 11 is 2. So when I graph this, I see that I need to go to positive 2. And there is no line underneath that inequality, so it is an open circle. And I'm going to turn that inequality into an arrow. So it's pointing towards the right. And again, make sure you clearly identify that it's an open circle, so make sure you make that a wide circle. And you clearly identify which direction this is pointing. As for number 2, again, I'm going to draw that line down your inequality. And now you have negative 26m is greater than or equal to 13. Negative 26 times m. The opposite is dividing by negative 26 on both sides. And so I now have m. When you divide by a negative, you must flip your sign. So since I divided by a negative 26, I'm going to switch that sign, keep the equal to symbol, and 13 divided by negative 26 is negative 1/2. So as I look at my graph here, I don't have a negative 1/2. So you're going to have to estimate negative 1/2 is between 0 and negative 1. So I have a closed circle at negative 1/2. I'm going to treat that inequality like an arrow. So I'm going to point towards the left. And again, which direction your arrow is pointing, so that me or Ms. Olson
Okay, looking at number 3 here, I'm going to start by drawing my line down from my inequality, and then I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal to get the variable by itself. In this case, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. Remember, that's when you flip the fraction, or you're looking for two numbers that when you multiply them together equal 1. So the 2's cancel, the 3's cancel, so you're just left with x. And then if I extend this here, I've got 3 times negative 4 is negative 12 divided by 2. I did not multiply or divide by a negative sign, so my inequality sign stays the same. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6, is greater than or equal to x. But a problem I have here is that my variable is not on the right side or the correct side. So I'm going to rewrite it. So x is on the left side, negative 6 is on the other side. The arrow is pointing toward the x. So now I just need to graph that. So that's going to be slightly off my chart here. Going to be a closed circle since I have a line underneath my inequality. The arrow points to the left, so I'm going to make sure my arrow points to the left when I graph it. Number 4, draw your line down from your inequality sign again, and then multiply both sides by 3. The 3's cancel. You're left with b so you're going to have 3 times negative 1, which is negative 3, is greater than b. B is not on the right side, the correct side. So I'm going to switch that up. The arrow points to the b, so I'm going to have an open circle at negative 3 because there is no line underneath my inequality. Again, the arrow points to the left. So I'm going to fill in my arrow to the left.
Third time's a charm. Alrighty, so we are going to do this last inequality by drawing a line down the inequality symbol. And as you can see, we have a fraction here again, like Miss Olsen said, to get rid of those, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, because we want it to equal 1. So I'm going to multiply both sides by a negative 4 over 3. So multiply by a negative 4 over 3. And when Miss Olsen was talking about multiplying or dividing by negative, it depends on what number you write on both sides. So in this case, since I multiply both sides by a negative, that's when you know to change your sign. So I'm going to take this inequality and I'm going to change the direction it is. So in this case, we have the 3's cancel out, your 4's cancel out, and also those negatives. So I'm left with x. Here we have, I extend this across, this negative 3, or sorry, just 3 and 3 cancel out. Your 2 negatives cancel out, so you're left with just 4. Alright, so now we need to graph this inequality. My variable is on the left, so I'm good there. So I'm going to find a positive 4, and I'm going to draw a closed circle, because you have that equal to symbol. So closed circle at positive 4, and it's going to point the same direction as that inequality. So it's going to point to the left. That was a long arrow there. Again, a couple things to keep in mind. Make sure you clearly show that you have a closed circle or open circle, and you clearly demonstrate which direction your arrow is supposed to be pointing. And then your variable is on the left, and then you put a box around your final answer.